r/askreddit. What screams this person peaked in high school to you? Bragging about high school hookups in their 30s. Regularly reposting the same picture of the one notable moment that they had in high school. Still acting like a typical mean girl when they're damn near, or past, 30. Anyone who bullies other adults as if they were still in high school. My ex-stepmother constantly bragged about being a cheerleader in high school and winning a beauty walk, in a town of like 500 people. She was still bragging about these the last time I saw her. She was in her mid-40s. One guy I knew literally got our school emblem and mascot in a huge class of 2010 tattooed on his shoulder. I graduated in 05. I was sitting at a tire shop waiting for my truck to get done and an employee slightly older than me walks up to me and asks me, with no previous interaction, if I played football in high school. Wondering where this was going, I responded that I did, but I wasn't great at it. He asked what school I went to, and I told him. Then he starts talking about himself. How he was all confidence and walking me through all of his high school accolades. I never asked for this conversation. I just sat there wondering why this nearly 40-year-old, wildly out of shape, tire shop supervisor was telling me all of this. Then just as soon as it started he bid me good day and walked off. It was bizarre. The best comparison I could make was that he was like the manager Dan from the movie Waiting. That was his vibe. That's how I knew he peaked in high school. Still going to every high school football game and sitting in the student section skull. The people that ask you to join those MLM schemes selling body wraps or the like. Anyone that has a Salt Life decal on their car when they live nowhere near the ocean or even a salt mine. Almost 10 years after high school a guy asked me if one of my friends was popular in high school. They keep insisting for the next 30 years that they would have taken state if coach would have put them in the game. In my experience, it's the people that talk about things that happened in HS as if it were yesterday. Constantly. I had an ex who would always tell me crazy stories. I'd ask, when did this happen? She would say sophomore year and we were mid-20s. Over time, it became clear that HS was the best years of her life and most likely will continue to be as she didn't have much ambition after HS. I had one good year in HS and reminisce about it every now and then, but it is not on the forefront of my mind. I used to work with a guy, we used to call him Roid Rage. He was very muscular, very masculine, and let everybody know both those things about him constantly. One day I'm sitting next to him in the break room and he's talking to me, unprompted as always, about how he went to attend an award ceremony for his son who won something regarding his football performance. I said, well, that was nice of you to go and support him. Nice. He said. It was fucking sad, man. That used to be me. Now I'm the old guy in the room who has to watch someone else win something I should have had, and all I could think was, what a loser. You can't just be happy your son won this award and be proud of him. You have to make it about you. Ridiculing the hobbies of others to make yourself look good. Talking about high school in every conversation and gossips like a high schooler. When the former high school bully you beat in a karate tournament with an illegal face kick shows up at your business and all your employees know exactly who he is. When you're 50 years old and you still talk about all the parties you went to in high school. I.e. my father. Under college/university in their Facebook profile, it says School of Hard Knocks. It doesn't get better once you grow up. I told a sub-teacher at my school that people told me this all the time, and she told me the only people that say that are the ones that peaked in high school. I miss her every day. They want to organize high school reunions every 5 years. Taking rec league softball way too seriously. Any amount of participation in a MLM scheme. Hey girl, hey. Do you wanna be your own boss, babe, while working from home, and it's just a pyramid scheme? Talking about your IQ and advanced placement classes when you did nothing afterwards. Like being 48 and talking about honors English. That was a minute ago, friend. 1. Trying to keep a dying school alive so they can keep going to local high school sports events. Even when the students would be much better off if it dissolved. 2. And when they still talk about school and exploits 30 years later. Edited to note these are two separate things, and clarification on second point. They tattooed their last name across their shoulders. But all he kept talking about was glory days. Well, they'll pass you by. Glory days in the wink of a young girl's eye. Glory days, glory days. I had a teacher who said these are the best years of your lives. Since I graduated in 2003, every single year has been better than every year of school since I can really remember. High school was fucking awful and seriously depressing. I had to work as a janitor through grades 11 and 12 to pay rent. I dropped out with one class left to get a union construction job. I'm back in university now doing an engineering degree because I have worked to get my life in a position where this is possible. This is a weird thread, because I've grown a lot as a person since high school, but life has been unkind to me since then. I look at high school and realize that life was the most stable and kind to me back then. I'm married to a man I met in high school, and I can tell from people's reactions when I say that some people assume that means we peaked in high school. But those reactions are split 50-50ths with people who think it's super sweet, adorable, like a fairy tale, etc. It's always funny to tell someone new about it and see which side of the line they land on. For the record, in high school I was painfully socially awkward and being abused by a person I thought was my best friend. And my husband was constantly on the verge of failing out because he didn't find schoolwork interesting/challenging, but now he's got a great career and a lot of very engaging hobbies. Those were absolutely not the best years of our lives. In fact, the only reason I remember high school fondly is that it's where I met him. My sister is one of these. Most frustrating are these moments. Her, you were never good in math. Me, I have a degree in robotics, a very math-heavy subject. Her, well, I took a high school math class that earned me college credit, so that is better than what you have. Me, you are comparing one high school class against an entire college degree. Her, I earned college credit. Me, maybe, at most, 3 hours. And you would have to find a school that would accept those hours, and you graduated over 20 years ago. What you have is pointless. You continue to brag how you scored 4 touchdowns in a single game while playing for your high school team over 20 years later. And now you sell shoes. I had a conversation in a bar with a drinking buddy years ago. The guy kept going on about the one that got away. How perfect she was and their chemistry together, how natural it was, how he hasn't felt that way about any girl since, yada yada. He was feeling pretty sorry for himself and uninterested in meeting anyone else because they could never compare. When I asked how long ago it was that she moved away, he said 8th grade. LMFAO. Constantly talking about their high school sport experiences. Buddy, you're 32. Nobody gives a flying fuck that you lettered in lacrosse and basketball. I talk about when I was in wrestling for high school from time to time. For me it was the only positive moment in high school. My best friend, since we were 4YO, and I were on the team and training partners. We had a blast and took nothing too serious. Just the pure joy of beating the crap out of one another in practice and still being friends after it was over. He died when he was 24. It's been almost 7 years without him. My world is different without him in it, and talking about those days keeps him alive. I didn't peak in high school, I wasn't popular, I never went to prom, never even had a girlfriend, but those days are the few good memories I have left of him. Before he died, he was in a downward spiral and I refuse to remember him that way. That's not who he was. Asterisk gets a standing ovation at HS football games. Asterisk pays for waterbed in cash. Asterisk fully loaded 2011 Ford Taurus. Asterisk corner apartment with fountain view. Asterisk no waiting at Beef O'Brady's. Edit, and is still peaking. Constantly posting throwbacks and their senior pictures. Sharing FB memories consistently, or putting Snapchat memories of high school on their story. If they are in their 30s to 40s and they wear their leather jacket outside of things like high school reunions where it's only barely appropriate, they still brag about their high school GPA, or any accomplishment they made in high school. They wear their HS class ring outside of things like high school reunions. High school could have been fun, it's fine to reminisce / like how at my HS they made a random freshman swallow a goldfish whole as a school sanctioned event / but if it defines you still, you peaked in HS. Me. I scream that to me. Every day when looking in the mirror. These are the best years of your life on repeat.